Check, you can tell me none. Boss mode in effect, and my money long. If you ain't talking money, don't talk to me. I'll be over here. Music.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 25 of Paranormal Addicts podcast. We are here on a special day, as I'm sure everybody has already figured out. So the reason why we're on a special day, for anybody who cares, is because this Saturday I have my Paracon, and it's kind of too much for me to do to be sitting up for the Paracon and be live. So, and our guest for this week is Gavin and Paula, who are also speakers at the Paracon, and they have another event on Friday too. So none of us could be here except for Chris. Chris, I guess you could have talked to yourself, but that probably wouldn't have been a very good show. So let's start out like we always do. Gavin and Paula, just introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know who you are and what you're about and all that fun stuff.
All right. Well, my name is Gavin Kelly, and this is Paula Kelly, and we are producers and directors for ITSEG Films that actually produces made-for-TV paranormal reality TV shows.
All right. So, our good friend Damien said hi. He's over in England, somewhere in the UK. England. So it's morning for him. So he says, "Good morning, everybody." Good morning, Damien. So
good morning, Damien.
We always start out really easy, just to break the ice. We start out with icebreaker questions. Okay. To me, with you guys, it's kind of silly because we're friends. We go back a while, but that's just how we roll. So the first icebreaker question is a two-part question, and that is, what is your guys' favorite location you've investigated? And then, what is your bucket list location that you want to investigate?
Well, I mean, gosh, we've been all over the United States. The only state we haven't been to is Maine and Alaska. But favorite location? What are you thinking?
I'm St. Albans, still St. Albans.
St. Albans?
Yep.
Why?
Why? Because, I just have a feeling of connection there at St. Albans. It's all about the little boy.
Jacob.
Jacob, yeah. It's all about Jacob there. And that's where I did my very first intense research into the location. And I did more than what the owners did. And that's all I'm all about history and finding the truth about things. And I actually have contacted a fellow patient's family, and it was another project that we were trying to work on, but it kind of fell through. And it was another filming project that we were going to work on, but COVID kind of ripped that in half to where we had to kind of drop the project, and we've put it on the shelf. Eventually, one of these days, I'm hoping we get to go back into it. And it was over a patient named Lucy that was at St. Albans. And I did an intense research on that patient and found out about her backstory. I actually got in contact with the family members. They actually gave me pages out of her diary that she kept there.
That's cool.
And
That's cool.
I have a personal connection to that location along with the investigation.
Right.
St.
I get that because
Albans.
My favorite location is not one of the big ones. It's one that, like you said, that I have a personal connection with. So I definitely get that. Chris, what do you want?
I said St. Albans Sanatorium is one of the most active places, I heard.
Mm-hmm. It was also the first place that we actually filmed our first episode for the Paranormal Journey into the Unknown. While we were filming, I actually got attacked there, and we have it all on film within the episode. I mean, there was an instance where I got kicked in the shin, and you can actually see the bruise up here. one of the other things is we were up in the bird cage area, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And I like to talk with my hands, but I kind of learned, throughout the years to stop talking with my hands. But I was talking with my hands, and my camera guy looked at me and goes, "Dude, look at your palms." And I'm like, "Huh." I had paper cuts going down my palm, and it was bleeding. So I'm like, "All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and take a 5. I'm gonna go down to the truck and get this cleaned up, and I'll be back, and then we'll try to shoot this interview again." Well, I went through St. Albans all the way back down to where the truck was, and it was gone. So,
do you believe there's something dark in there?
I don't think there's something dark in there, but there is something that scared the hell out of my camera guy because I let him take the reins. He walked on up while we had the other camera guy behind him, and he kind of crept his way on up the grand staircase. He got all the way up to the top, and all of a sudden he heard footsteps. Boy, he just darted down the stairs, the front door. He goes, "Yep, I'm done." But basically, it was the spirit that was in the pedophile room, I think it was.
There is about 15 spirits in that building. If you ever have the privilege of investigating the building, it will not stir you wrong. I've had everybody that has went and investigate always have a different story versus anybody else that's investigated there. And we have quite a few. We've been there twice. It is interesting. It has its calming moments, then it has its freaktality moments. It has their unsettling moments.
Didn't we get an EVP of the what is it? Electroshock therapy?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And we were in the electric shock therapy room where they did electroshock therapy, and we actually have someone had a connection of being tested and having that charge put through them, and we actually have the waves.
Yeah, it's like
good Lord.
Yes, and in the bowling alley.
Oh yeah, the bowling alley.
The bowling alley is very dark. I heard.
The hospital there in Cairo. I have a connection with that, and I was there with JB, and we all know JB, and JB she always wants to go live, and we was in the port where there used to be the psychiatric ward, and as she went live, I got a scratch across my face, live on her, on her live, I just got a big scratch across my face, so that was kind of like a cool moment.
Paula has a connection with St. Mary's, the hospital in Cairo.
I know she does. Yep.
Grandmother on the 3rd floor.
No, my aunt.
Your aunt. I always get that wrong.
Yeah,
aunt.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's cool.
Yeah, my aunt had passed away in the hospital. My grandfather was the one that originally put the plumbing in for the hospital, and
you really got a connection.
Yes. And I actually had another aunt that was a nurse there, and she was a surgical nurse there. So, yeah, I have several connections there. And then I have connections in Carroll anyway, because my grandparents lived right outside Carroll. So, and I've had family members that lived in Carroll. So,
yeah, we've discussed that because, my uncle was mayor, and, my granddad, I called him Pampor. My Pampor worked at the post office, and, actually, I guess technically, Carroll was actually my first home, because when I was brought home from the hospital, I lived in the basement at my grandparents' house because it was a finished basement. So my connection with St. Mary's is my dad, my uncle, my mom, both my aunts, and my other uncle were all born there. And then my 2 great aunts and my great grandmother passed away there. But anyway, so next icebreaker question. Are we ready? What is your favorite, what is your go-to, however you want to say it, what is your go-to piece of equipment? And you can't say yourself. We know that we're the best piece of equipment. What's your favorite piece of equipment in your toolbox?
Well, lately, we've been using the new Phasma box, which is by Extreme Senses. That is a incredible piece of software. We actually had full sentences come through while we were investigating at the Broadbent, seed mill. What's your favorite? You like the 80, don't you?
I like the Eddie, and I also like my dowsing rods.
Your dowsing rods.
Yes, I kind of have two. It depends on where I'm at. But yeah, I like the Eddie because it's all a 3-in-1. You've got the temperature, you've got the EMF, and you've got the geophone
for
and,
vibration.
Yes, and then I like my dowsing rods because I can do a lot with the dowsing rods, and so I've actually solved a murder by using dowsing rods.
Yeah,
that's cool. So before I even go on with my next question, we already got one from the Peanut Gallery here. So Damien asked, has any of your recordings carried the entity within the recording?
I'm not quite understanding that question. What do you mean by carried an entity within the recording?
Can you clarify that for us, Damien? Because I don't.
He means
I'm
like,
not 100% sure where you're going with that either.
Did it latch on to the recording or?
Oh, so you're talking about like a regular hard EVP?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, yeah, we actually, back when we first started investigating, the best EVP we ever got is that we investigated a place called Carter's Mill. And we actually got a Southern black woman on the EVP, and we were talking about the area used to have community picnics in the area. And it came across as in we got the word picnic.
Mm-hmm.
And then also later on into the questioning, if you listen to it, you hear us asking questions, and we had walked into a area which used to be the cotton gin. Well, after the cotton gin closed down and you went through Prohibition periods, a lot of people did more backwoods moonshine during Prohibition. So we actually saw different remnants of when the steel was there. And we asked what was made in this room, and we had gotten an EVP that said moonshine.
But it went moonshine?
Yeah, that's exactly how we got it. It was moonshine.
Yeah. But we were also using SB7 during that time too, which that's how, nowadays I'm thinking, power suggestion with the SB7, but back then that was an incredible piece of evidence because what would be the chances of moonshine coming across when it's sequencing back and forth or scanning back and forth on AM and FM, and it comes up and says moonshine just right then and there after you asked what was actually being made in this room, and it came out and said moonshine. I mean, what are the chances that moonshine was actually going to bleed through on any of those AM and FM radio stations?
Right.
Was it alcohol? Is it an alcohol, or what is moonshine?
Moonshine is an alcohol. It's a high grain backwoods. Oh. Well, now you have stills. You have companies that produce moonshine now, but back then it was a 200 proof. If you took a shot of regular 200 proof moonshine, no, it will kick your butt, and then you're like,
you die.
So I had, when I was 13, I got some in a mason jar from Georgia. Yeah. And I'm talking about it was aged, like the lid was rusted onto it. And when you opened it, I think I went from 13 to 18 after one shot. Yeah, so anyway, moving on.
I've seen people use it as gasoline in their vehicles.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, they say. I mean, I wasn't alive then, obviously, but I've heard stories that the bootleggers used to you could just put moonshine in your gas tank. It was basically just like jet fuel. So anyway, let's talk about your latest book. Let's open up with that. I got your book right here.
Oh, you're talking about me.
I've actually already read it. I read it like the day I bought it. Even though you said it was deep, I read it through, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We've discussed that. I've actually going into several investigations with this theory. So, so the book is The Ghost We Make, Exploration of the Power of Suggestion. So I'm just going to let you. There you go. I'm just going to let you explain the theory, and just tell us about the book.
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but the main thing
Well,
that I'll
don't give
state
too much away.
I mean, the main thing I'll state about this book is 99.95% can be explained. The other percentage is possible paranormal. That's the book in a nutshell.
All right, so we got another question from Damien. So he asked this time, do you believe that most EVPs are residual or intelligent responses? That is one of you more a spirit attractor than the other?
I don't think any of ours have been residual because that would be an imprint on history. We've actually received intelligent responses, like
Yes.
the moonshine. That was intelligent. That would not have been a residual.
And as far as the spirit attractor, yeah, that's me.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm an empath and a sensitive, and I can actually walk into buildings and I can tell the control of the building or what the building's probably going to be for that night.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting, and I like this past Friday night, we were at a location and we had one of them just kept walking with me the whole time until there was a crowd coming in. And then when the crowd came in, it walked away.
Yep.
And then as soon as everybody started leaving, because we were at a public investigation, and as soon as everybody was leaving, it came back, and then it just stuck around with me, and I try to communicate with it and stuff, but I think she was just not having it because she does not like crowds.
Oh, the big crowd too.
Yes.
There were too many. There was like groups of 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Small funeral home. That's difficult.
Well, since Damien kind of led us in that direction, one of the things that we always ask everybody on the show, we usually do it towards the end, but since Damien kind of led us that way anyway, we'll just go ahead and do it now. So after I choke, I'm just going to get you guys' opinion on the different kinds of hauntings. So you just tell me what your thoughts are and that kind of stuff. Okay, makes sense. Everybody game. So first kind of haunting we'll discuss is residual. What's your guys' take on a residual haunting?
I mean, it's basically residual hauntings is just a repeat. It is the same story repeatedly throughout the day, or it could be a specific time. Say, for instance, a train pulls into a train station at 3:15. Okay, there could have been a tragedy that happened with that train or something. That's residual energy. And technically speaking, we all have residual energy. We leave a footprint of anything in the past. And sometimes that footprint is stuck in repeat and replay. And I mean, like, for instance, you have an old train station, and about 3:15, everybody hears a whistle blown like a train's coming in, but they know that train station's been discontinued for 30 or 40 years, so there is not going to be a train coming in through those tracks. But everybody this is based on a true story I heard that I'm still investigating myself as the history part of it, but at 3:15, that train whistle would come through, and they would have a motion of a train coming through that station, and everybody would feel the breeze off the train, but there was nothing there. But you can document it, and you can time it and replay it at that point. You could sit there all week long and be out there, and boom, at 3:15, that train would come through.
But it's also like that story with the guy from Sloss Furnace. Forgot his name. I'm just going to say his name is Mr. Williams. I don't know his real name, but he worked there for 30 years plus. And he would always walk to work. He would go by the freeway, go underneath the tunnel, and walk to the Sloss Furnace. Well, when he died, people actually still seen him do that because that's basically his path. So in the afterlife, he's still following that general path to go to work, and people actually do see him. But you can't communicate with them because it's residual.
One that we're all three familiar with is Miss Maggie at Metropolitan at 11:01 walking down the steps. I don't know why I live in a one.
The only
I
thing
don't
we
know
got
why
there.
she walks down the steps, but that's the one. That's one. The first one I was ever told about Metropolitan.
No, the only thing we got there at Holton Metropolitan
So
is the
next haunting is intelligent hauntings.
We've had quite a few of those.
I mean, the moonshine one, that's definitely
Yes.
intelligent. Let's see. What about the? Oh no! Once again, Carter's Mill. Remember, you were talking to the sons. You were asking what's their favorite color.
Yeah, and
as
I
we
said red and blue. I had
and
like,
what's your favorite food? And they said pizza.
yeah.
And what do you like to do during the day? Walk. And it was like answering all of your questions.
Yeah, Carter's Mill was very interesting back in the day. Yes.
So we know that definitely intelligent because it was answering your questions right when you were saying them.
And also, well, my own house. Remember the very first EVP we ever got?
Well, that was Freddie.
He says, because we asked him, "Can you show yourself?" And they said, "What was it exactly?" He said,
we asked, "Who are you?" And he said
Frederick.
And we said, "Can we see you?" He said, "Sure." Next thing you know, we took a picture, and there he was on the view screen.
And it's our very first piece of evidence that we ever got. And when we started investigating, that was our very first piece.
Yep.
That's cool. So Damien asked, while we're talking about intelligent entities, he asked, do you consider shadow figures as intelligent entities?
I would say no, due to the fact that they just appear and disappear. I mean, they don't follow you. They don't try to communicate with you. They don't do anything. They just appear in the corner of your eye and they're gone. Yeah, there's no intelligence with a shadow figure.
That or they break the grid.
Well, yeah, they'll break the grid, but they actually don't know what they're stepping in.
No,
they've never seen it before.
Especially like Asbury Cemetery.
Oh God, yeah.
So do you guys buy into
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe there's paranormal on the waters, like rivers or lakes or streams? Do you believe there's paranormal?
Well, that is something that I'm actually researching on. It might be a future book on down the road.
Well, water is a conduit.
Water is a conduit. So is limestone. So is anything that deals with copper.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put all three of those in play, that is your perfect pyramid or triangle for the paranormal.
And also water rushing through a copper pipe.
Yes.
I mean, that speed of water turns to EMF.
Yes.
Definitely makes sense. So do you guys buy into the theory that residual hauntings are the most common? Or we had a guest, I guess it's been about 3 shows now, that actually put out their theory, and I can see both arguments. Their theory is that actually intelligent hauntings are probably the most common because we actually can communicate with intelligent ones. Residual, there's no communication there. So what's your guys' take on that?
I mean, the residual, you'll actually see the imprint or something repeating itself in a loop. You can talk to it until you're blue. It's not going to respond back. The intelligent one will actually respond to you, which is kind of weird. I mean, how can it respond to you with no brain?
So the next kind of haunting's your favorite one, Gavin.
Wait, my answer that.
What is your take on demonic hauntings? Demonic, demon. I just got 100 more likes.
Yep. See, look. Wait, my answer that.
Well, hold on. I want to go back to what I was saying about not having a brain. Like here's the thing to think about. The entities does not have a mass. Okay. So how does it create footsteps that we hear with no mass and no physical properties? And also, how can these entities communicate with us and actually know things if they don't have a brain?
Right. Yeah.
I think Wade might answer that question.
Okay, Wade. I mean, I do
I don't
understand
know.
that.
I can't. If
One
you ask
thing,
me, I can't explain it. I mean,
well, I do. I know one thing
somehow.
for an example is when you die. Before you die, all of your memories and everything basically goes into your soul. Your soul is considered like the hard drive that holds all of your stuff from your brain, because once you're dead, your brain stops, but your soul lives on. It's kind of like that is the computer, but that still doesn't allow them to, be able to hold an intelligent conversation when they don't have the mental capacity that used to be there. I mean, like you said, the brain is used to regulate body function.
Yeah, exactly.
No
I mean, yeah, I
brain.
definitely agree. And like Damien said, the brain is only used to regulate body functions. So no internal organisms would need the brain. So like the consciousness, the soul is still there. So yeah.
The question is, the other question: how can spirits know our names if we even tell our names?
Well, that could be interesting because
I mean, they know my name at Waverly.
Yes, they do.
They know my name.
Because
I still don't know how they could do that. I mean, it just blows my mind, because we were there investigating, and my fellow investigator was inside the morgue. He had the SB7 with the Altic Lansing, and he's just holding it over. He's like, "What room am I in?" Morgue. Okay, good. And right when I walked across the threshold, he pulled his hand up and said, "Gavin." He's like, "Dude, said your name." So 4 years later, we're there with another group, and I crawl into the body drawer, and I'm like, "Okay, so I was here 4 years ago. You said my name when I walked through the threshold into this very room, which is the morgue. Do you remember what my name is?" Gavin.
Jeez.
I was like, "Oh, boy, they know me." Well, besides that,
you made an impression, Gavin.
Yeah, but after that happened, there's a doppelganger of me there.
yes,
Because people have
That's
asked
funny.
me, "Were you at Waverly?" Not this year or a couple years ago, but they asked me, "It's like, were you there last week?" And I'm like, "No." "Were you there on the weekend?" "No." "Well, we saw you on the third floor looking out." I'm like, "It wasn't me."
I think that's really interesting because a lot of people don't understand that. How can it be? Like, can it be something else, or could it be a like individual of us? It just doesn't make sense.
I know. It really doesn't.
It's one of those
All right,
things.
another question up there.
Yeah, we may never know the answer. So Damien throws his 2 cents in. He says being able to read the electronical thought impulse, maybe if they work on the neuron energy, they can read as you think. Maybe that's the theory. It's as good as anything else, I guess. So anyway, let's move on to the next haunting. The next haunting is demonic. How do we feel about demonic?
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh man, I for one think anything that is demonic is bullshit. I for one don't believe in it. Haven't seen it. And then you got all these YouTubers out there that everything's a demon. That's bullshit. Because if they actually seen a demon, they would probably piss themselves or run out of the location, making another hole in the wall of their body, like Scooby-Doo. Or if there really was a demon, it would probably destroy them, tear them up where they couldn't live to tell. So how the heck do all these YouTubers always encounter a demon? Trapped by a demon, chased by a demon caught on film, all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Say demon one more time so I can get some more lights.
Well, here's the thing, and this is going off to the Catholic Church.
Oh shit.
1% of all their cases, and I'm not talking about everybody throwing a little something there saying this could be demonic or whatever. 1% of all Catholic demonic cases leads to something that might possibly be demonic, but it's not going to be direct demonic. It's going to be oppression or
A pissed off spirit.
or a pissed off spirit. But only 1% of their cases. So I'm talking about maybe 1% of 100 cases they get, which would be one case out of the 100 cases that they work. You're going to get something to that level.
I mean, the question is how many 100% exorcisms have been done?
If I best remember when I read that surtext for the Catholic Church, they only had worked about a little over 400 cases.
Yeah, and how many was an actual true demonic exorcism?
Well, there was like, I think, 5.
Wade! I said Wade.
Oh, 5 or 6 cases, I believe, that went to demonic stage of being an exorcist, but I don't know to that point. I know of 2 locations that have had not the people be exorcist, but exorcised, but anyway. The location end up being not specifically the person, but the location. And one of the locations, we've been in one of the locations.
Industrial Slaughterhouse?
No.
That's where I got my ass kicked.
Okay, we're talking about a priest. Talking about a priest.
Bethlehem Academy.
According to the old Catholic Church, which there's the old Catholic Church, which is where you get like Bishop Long and all those people. They in their whole history, they have, and they acknowledge the same thing we all do. Less than 1%, if any. But so they have 9 that they have on record as true exorcisms, 9 in history. So going back to like 18, whatever. So, but what's interesting is that's one of the subjects that we're tackling at the Paracon Saturday. Bishop-elect Tommy Golden is going to be there, and his topic is whether exorcisms are real or not. That's his whole topic.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Like I said, the only place I've known that the actual Roman Catholic Church
Hinsdale House
is the Hinsdale House, and that one has been documented. That one has had a lot of stuff into that. Daniel Clace will tell you more about it, but
they said it was a failed exorcism.
It was a failed exorcism, but that was the only acknowledged exorcism I know that we've actually physically have had any involvement in the location.
Like there was no exorcism ever in the Conjuring House. Just throwing that out there.
Yes. There's no document exorcism in the Conjuring House.
Thank you for clarifying that.
We don't say that name in here. Anyway, moving on. Next question. This is my Chris question.
Hang on.
Chris, are you ready? Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. What?
Go.
Here's my Chris question.
I was gonna say the Monroe House.
Why do you guys think?
Hey, hold on. Chris was saying something.
I was going to say the Monroe House has been documented an exorcism. So there's been an exorcism in the Monroe House.
I don't know about that. We've actually investigated there numerous times, and
no, I'm friends with.
Really
I'm actually friends with somebody, and he has actually a real recording of an exorcism.
Is that Diddy?
It's real.
No, I'm saying is it Diddy? Michael?
His name is his name is Matt. He has a real.
Oh, Benton.
Matt
Benton.
Yeah, he has a real recording.
Huh. I think that's actually in part of his trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there was a recording that somebody, the woman that was there, I remember that because Eddie told us that she got a recording and she would never let anybody play it or hear it. Yeah, I forgot what her name was, but I do remember that. But there's really nothing dark there. I mean, you got the YouTubers now changing the name to the Monroe Demon House. Did you get more likes?
More likes.
And
I'm going there this month.
Well, see, the thing
I'm going there this month. I wanted to find something.
Yeah, just don't. You got this particular YouTuber that branded it the Monroe Demon House, and Michael Diddy's like, dude, no, it's called the Mysterious Monroe House. Eddie hates it. He does not like to hear it called the Demon House. It is not the Demon House. It is just the Monroe House.
Now, the only thing that has been interesting that we got there is the camera moving by itself.
Yeah, we had a camera move by itself in the hallway at the Monroe House, all by itself.
That's going to be...
It's going to be in Matt Benton's documentary, by the way, Evil on Earth.
I can't wait for that movie to come out.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good one. I actually invited him to be part of... I invited Matt to be at next year's Paracon, but he's actually still going to be somewhere with the Marines still.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. This is my question. How do you guys explain all the drama lately?
Huh?
In what line of drama? There's a lot going on.
The paranormal drama.
That's exactly. I'm talking about all of it. I'm talking about the Conjuring House. I'm talking about the movie, the Skinwalk. I'm talking about the Gillis. I'm talking about all of it. Why do you think? I mean, me and Gavin, we discussed this before, and Gavin's exact words was, para-unity is dead. So
it is.
How do you guys explain the drama going on? What is the drama in the field right now?
Well, if you tell people to pick up this book, Ghost Hunting, Sensationalism, and Social Media, you'll learn all about it. It all okay, here's the thing. The paranormal field was great before 2018. I mean, people were going out investigating. They were sharing their evidence with other teams. Nobody was trying to steal other people's stuff. It was not cutthroat. It wasn't step on people. It wasn't use the paranormal as a financial gain until 2018, when a shit ton of YouTubers decided to see, oh, well, gosh, my content's stale. Ooh, paranormal. Let's go do that. And sure enough, next thing you know, we got people that were doing pranking videos, lawless videos, urbex videos, just trespassing videos. Next thing you know, they're paranormal investigators. And they're basically using the paranormal as their piggy bank.
You make it till you, or you fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And now you got, the paranormal legends, Sam and Kobe. First of all, they are not legends.
They're quacks.
They are paranormal frauds. They are not legends.
They paid their way into the Cinemark.
Probably did.
They paid thousands and thousands of dollars.
Or they got backers.
Well, still either and or backers. Somebody had to pay for them, because technically speaking, if you have the money, you can actually pay to have things put into Cinemark, but it would not be on the higher level screens like your motion picture, but it would be on a secondary level. Now, their movie has come out as a secondary level, but all of Cinemarks are not playing it. It's only 40% of all Cinemarks that are playing it, and it's mainly the ones that are the bigger Cinemarks that has more than 8 screens, so that they would have one.
Yay!
Yeah, but
they're playing 2 of them too. They got the Skinwalker one, which I think is a bunch of BS, and then they got the Legends of the Paranormal.
But yeah, they paid their way. I mean, you can pay, long as you have like $500,000 to play with. You can do about anything you want, because money talks and bullshit walks.
You got to think about how many people all these gullible fans that just adore them. It's like, oh, I gotta watch Sam and Kobe until they realize what they have done behind the scenes, and it's just totally blows my mind of everything that they do. I mean, I have seen them when they are off camera. because there's a DVR camera that was filming them at the Bel Air house.
Mm-hmm.
One of them just roundhouse kicked the head off of Boo Bear. And you got Seth Borden sitting there saying some derogatory remarks about the location owner.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all heard on the DVR camera because there's audio. But then when it comes time for them to act, then they're totally different when they get on camera.
It's weird.
So here's my whole take on that. So
They're fake.
the Harriman Hospital,
Mhm.
we all know the Harriman Hospital. They actually redid their waiver because of them, and they
I
tell
wrote
you
it.
that when you sign it.
Yeah.
I wrote it.
When you sign their waiver, they actually tell you it's because of Sam and Cody. So this is for real. I mean, I don't. The only time I'll call somebody out is when you're faking. Otherwise I'll pretty well tolerate anything. If you want to be an ass, you can be an ass. But when you start faking, I'm gonna call you out. I even lost a mutual friend over this, as we know, Gavin. But so when you go to the Harriman house now, you have to sign a waiver, and one part of the waiver says that you cannot release your video until you send it to them for approval, and they tell you it's because of Sam and Cody, because they were there screaming demon, and there ain't no freaking demon there.
Exactly.
So that's when I have a problem.
That's not just Sam and Kobe, because we already talked
It
to
was
Ronnie.
Omar Gosh TV and Exploring with Josh.
Yep, they did it also.
That's the reason why I rewrote the waiver for Ronnie for the Harriman Hospital and Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Okay, we got another question before we get too far deep into that subject.
Mm.
Damien says, "How do your methods differ from everyone else's, and what legacy will you pass on to the upcoming investigators of the future?"
Methods.
The truth.
Yeah, and we don't do like what Zach Bagans does.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
it's all saturated.
And we try to find, like, if we do get a piece of evidence, we want to debunk it as much as possible
Yeah.
before we even release it, stating that there is something.
Yeah, and it sucks. I mean, especially this happened this past weekend. We were upstairs in this funeral home on the second floor. They had a big, like a spirit box, but it's like a SB7 on crack. I mean, this thing was huge, and it's just going off, popping off, and it's talking. But next to them, there's a table, and I started seeing all these little flickering bursts of light, and I was like, "Oh no, that's cool! What the hell's making that?" I didn't see anything that was doing it. I figured it was like little specks of light just popping off, kind of like something from Cocoon. Those are little balls of light just appearing. Well, it looked good on camera. I showed one of the other investigators. They're like, "Oh my God, that is incredible." So I get home, loaded up on the computer, and sure enough, I looked at it, and it was someone using a iPhone 16 with a LiDAR on the back was popping off. And when it did, it put the little lights on the table. I
had a similar situation happen at Octagon Hall. So we were down in the basement. You guys have been to Octagon Hall, haven't you?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we've been knocked on several times.
Yeah.
So we were down in the basement, and to your eye and on video, it looked like somebody was walking in front of the staircase. And
Okay.
And on video, it actually looked like they were pacing.
Okay.
So we were doing EVP in the library, So when I saw it, I got up. I was like, I need to either debunk this or prove it. I need one or the other. I need to see if it was real or not. So I get up, and after a while, what I decided it finally was the light from outside, the way it hit the window and the staircase. It made like a shadow. So I debunked it. So yeah, 'cause I'm the same way. I'm not going to present any evidence, and I'm going to try to debunk it first. And if I can't debunk it, then we'll go from there. So,
Well, usually when we go to the Octagon Hall, we will shut that door that goes down to the basement.
well, I was with friend. Well, I won't even call them friends. I was with somebody that, was somebody from Tennessee.
Okay.
that drives everybody crazy.
Alrighty.
So anyway, moving on. So the next question is, how do you guys think the para-pop culture has affected the field, both positively and negatively? What do you think the positive and negative of the para-pop culture is?
You're talking about the run of the mill last 5 years?
God.
Because it has become a clique. For a while there, I think it's calmed down a little bit, but for the
Become a shit show. That's what it's become.
well, it's become a cliche, like instance of basically who is the most popular in the paranormal. It's like who's going to be prom queen in the high school. Because that's what I feel like it has become, is because the fact is you've got competitors that are competing. We've got this one person with a Cybertruck who thinks he is a paranormal expert. He's a food expert. Okay. And then you have these other people that are like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I'm trying to be nice and not like call people out, but you've got them who are like tries to look sexy to attract the young female viewers.
Talk about Sam and Kobe again?
Yes. They are trying to be.
Wait, you call them attractive?
No.
Okay.
I'm old enough to be their mother. No, I'm good.
Well, they are like 27, 28.
See, my girls are 26. Like I said, I'm old enough to be their mother.
God.
But I'm just saying, you have these 15, 16, 17, all the way up to 20.
Titty boppers.
Titty boppers that are obsessed with them, not just for the fact of, oh, they're cool, they do what they do, but, ooh, isn't he cute? I bet he's nice.
Well, then how come a lot of people didn't watch Matt Rife when he was a paranormal investigator?
Because Matt Rife did it before he got smart.
Yeah, he did.
He is the smartest one out of all of us. He got smart.
Yeah,
He's smarter than Zach.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He knew how to take the scene and play it, and he knew where paranormal was going, and he knew how to get at it right at the right time.
Yeah.
He knows how to play the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I actually watched Sam and Kobe, one of their videos. I was watching their Dippet box when they're doing Dippet boxes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was watching them. I'm like, is anything gonna happen? I was like, those are handmade by them. Because
actually, no, you can buy a Dybbuk box on eBay.
Yeah, on eBay, but did they buy them on eBay? I don't think so.
No, I call them bullshit boxes because there's only one, and Zach Bagans is the only one that's got the damn thing in the basement.
Yep.
So, yeah. All those other ones are just straight up BS. They're fake. Buy them on the black market, buy them on eBay. It's ridiculous.
So, that brings us to an interesting question. What people have to realize, and I know you guys know, so I know I'm talking to the, choir here, but none of the equipment that we have, even as fancy as it is, even as much as we like it, and even if we test it and prove it's legit, like you guys know, whenever I bring a new piece of equipment into my toolbox for my team, I test it for 4 investigations before I even consider putting it in my toolbox. So, but even with that being said, none of these fancy things we have now, not your SLS, not your spirit box, not your portal box, none of it was originally meant for paranormal investigation. It all had another purpose prior, and somebody decided, hey, I'm playing Connects, and I picked up a spirit. We can turn this into a pair. So, whenever you, so in my opinion, and then I'll let you guys tell me whether you agree with me or whether I'm an idiot. It don't make any difference. It's my show, so I get to say my opinion anyway. In my opinion, with equipment, you have to, you can't just open a box and be like, it's ready to use. You have to learn the false positives. You have to learn, when its weaknesses and its strengths. Because everything is going to give you a false positive at some point. So you have to study it. You can't just be like, well, I have this new DVR system and it's 100% accurate. No, there's weaknesses there, and you need to know the weaknesses as much as the strengths. Does that make any sense, or am I just babbling?
Well, I don't know about the DVR system because that just records.
I just went DVR because I looked at mine. It's right here beside me, so that's why. That's why it was DVR.
Do you guys?
All my equipment's right here, ready to go to the fairgrounds on Saturday. So.
Do you guys believe spirits can make phone calls?
No. You? I mean, there was that story you read to me.
Yeah, there was a story that was researched or even became a newspaper article, because when you brought that up, there was a story. This was back when cell phones became a majority over home lines. This is back before we got really technical on cell phones now. This is back when flip phones was the thing.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm trying to remember exactly how the story went, because I found it in a newspaper article.
A person got buried with their phone.
Somebody got buried with their phone.
And then it went off.
And their friend answered it, and they kept getting these calls from the other side. And so they had went to the funeral home and did an investigation to find out if someone had took their phone out of the casket before the person got buried. And we thought eventually, because this happened a week after this person's death, and
the phone should have been dead.
Yeah, the phone should have been dead or whatever.
So that means someone did take it out.
So it makes you.
I remember hearing that. Yeah.
It was a prank, probably.
I don't know, but that was an actual article that made it to a newspaper. Is there any truth to it? I don't know. Is it a possibility? I don't know, because I have a friend of mine that I don't know how much of her story is true, but her husband swears up and down for the longest time that his dead mother, which she had a landline, his dead mother would call him every year on his birthday. How much of that is true, I don't know, but that landline no longer exists. The house doesn't even exist anymore. So is there a little possibility? Who knows?
Well, I mean, our cemetery got Wi-Fi, so they can get on Facebook.com.
Yeah, I've never seen a cemetery have Wi-Fi before, but yes, Oak Grove Cemetery in Paducah has Wi-Fi.
And they got faceplant.com.
So we're almost out of time, believe it or not. But here's the next quick rapid fire subject I want to discuss. So, like, I'm just going to name different locations that people consider haunted. I don't really like using the term haunted, as you guys know. I prefer the active, because if you use the term haunted, everybody assumes it's bad, and that goes back to the whole demon thing. Just because the spirit's malicious doesn't mean it's a demon. If you were a dickhead when you was alive, you're going to be a dickhead when you're dead. So
it's ghostly.
So I'm just going to name different kinds of locations, and you guys tell me if you think there's a possibility of being active, and if you've been at one that if you have a personal experience. Everybody with me? So let's start with cemeteries. How do you guys feel about investigating cemeteries?
We've done several.
Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of activity too.
Yep.
Like a shadow, actually. I was walking down this path. I stopped. The shadow kept going.
Yes.
Yeah, freaky.
So we got a yes on cemeteries. Okay, so let's try. When's there
ever a time a cemetery is not active? It always is. It's always.
I haven't really seen a cemetery be active during the day. It's usually at night when there's a lot of shadow play.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, battlefields.
Yes.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes.
Gettysburg.
We've been to Gettysburg. Gettysburg, we've had a lot of experiences at Gettysburg.
Oh, yeah.
Have you guys been to Perryville?
No.
No.
It's pretty active, and it's a lot closer to us than Gettysburg. But
Columbus Belmont's
You know,
pretty active too. We've been there too.
the history
Yeah.
about Perryville is the bloodiest battle in Kentucky. Where?
Huh?
I missed that one.
Columbus Belmont.
So before I get to my next question, Damien asked, yes, Columbus is active. Yeah, that's where I ran around as a teenager and stuff. So yeah, I love Columbus. Have you ever investigated a plane, boat, or train?
We investigated the Queen Mary.
And the USS Lexington.
Yes.
The Queen Mary's
The
is
Queen
a
Mary is
beautiful
actually on my
boat.
bucket list.
It is. It's a,
So the boat that I got, I've not done a lot of boats, so I'm not considering myself a boat expert. I'm not a celebrity or anything. I'm not going demon 500 times just to get more likes. But the boat that I got the most activity on was actually the USS Annapolis in the Maryland harbor. It's the last wood boat that was used during 1812 and all that stuff. I got a lot of activity in it. So anyway, next we did battlefields, we did cemeteries.
What about asylums and institutions?
Oh, we've done a bunch of those.
yeah, we've done a bunch of those.
We've done.
You're scamping ahead, Chris. I'm going to mute you.
See, we've done Waverly.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, so I guess we can go ahead and do asylums.
Yeah.
Yeah, asylums we've done a bunch of. We've done Waverly. We've done St. Albans. We've done
Achenbach.
Let's see. I'm trying to think.
That was a joke.
Malvern Manor.
Yeah. Achenbach was
I'm
kind
doing
of
Ashmore.
cool.
I'm doing Ashmore next year with.
We've done Ashmore.
Yeah, Ashmore.
We've done Ashmore.
Yeah. We've been to Ashmore probably 4 times.
Yeah. Different each time we went.
Oh yeah.
I'm going
I've
with
seen
Larry.
Kentucky Joe. Yeah, I've seen Kentucky Joe. Because see, when Ashmore was going through all the renovations and stuff, we were there. We actually helped tear the entire front of the building off. And we were, I had wheelbarrow full of stuff and stones and dirt, and I was wheeling it out to the 3rd floor window and dumping it out into the roll-off down below. Well, right when I passed the staircase, Kentucky Joe was standing right there. Dude with the hat and everything. I was like, hey, and just kept going.
Okay, we got 2 minutes. Are we ready for rapid fire? So, churches.
Churches? We've done churches. We've done several churches.
Which one? It was.
We've done St. Stephen's.
Yeah, that's the one.
And we've also done the one up in Illinois, the Catholic Church in Illinois.
Oh, God, I can't even pronounce that name.
The chapel in Hopkinsville in the cemetery. They got a little chapel in the cemetery, and it's actually pretty active. So hospitals, we did asylums, but how about hospitals?
We've done several of those.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that was Achenbach.
And the last one, the last one is schools.
Yes.
Yeah, we've done schools too.
Yep.
Chittyville.
Okay, so let's wrap this up so I can replay it on Friday. Tell everybody, tell the viewers what you guys have going on, which I know is a lot because you guys are always busy. Tell them where to find you, your production and all that stuff.
Well, next week, Friday, we're going to be doing a ghost hunt event at the Rock Shop here in Paducah, Kentucky. Then on Saturday,
at 7:00.
Yep.
I can't be there. If it was 8, I could be there, but I can't be there at 7.
I think they have like 3 tickets left when I talked to her the other day.
Yeah, it's almost sold out. And then Saturday, we're going to be at the Haunted Graves Paracon.
And next weekend.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and then the weekend after that, we'll be at Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky. And then the weekend after that, we'll be at Mid-Michigan in
Mount Pleasant,
Michigan.
When you guys get a chance, go take a trip up to White Hill Mansion.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've had a couple friends that invited us up there. We just haven't had time to do it.
It's a good place, I've been hearing.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. I will see you Saturday, if not Friday, but definitely Saturday. I wasn't being rude when I was on my phone earlier. Aaron G. Thompson was texting me. Apparently, they couldn't find a dog. They couldn't find a dog sitter, so they were making sure that they could bring the dog to the haunted B&B they're staying at.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So I was like, yes, bring the dog. I'm like, the dog might not like the haunted dog, but go ahead and bring him. So thank you guys for being on the show. Always a pleasure. I'm proud to consider you guys your good friends, and we will see you in 6 days. 6 days.
Yep.
Yep.
6 days.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks for having us.